All right, good morning. Could I have your attention, please? We are about to kick off our February breakfast meeting with the Greenwood County Democratic Party. Thank you all for getting out of bed on this very chilly February morning. I don't know about you, but it was tough for me to get out from underneath those covers. I was toasty warm, but I'm glad you made it out here. What a tremendous turnout. I'm glad to see so many of you so concerned about the state of our country, our state, and our community. So thank you for coming out, and I hope you find today to be informative and inspirational. To kick things off, could I have everybody please stand up, remove your baseball caps or hats if you have them. Would like to face our flag. We're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. For those of you who are new to our group, we like to put an extra special emphasis on the final two words. So when we get to those last two words, I'd like to hear a little boost in volume. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Please be seated. That's really what it's about, isn't it? All right, at this time, I would like to ask for a moment of silence. I would like for you to take this opportunity to reflect, to offer prayers, to remember those who have passed, and maybe even offer some thoughts of gratitude for the things that are going well. I would also ask that we keep in mind the family and friends and neighborhood of Tyree Nichols. I think you may have heard about that tragic loss of life in Memphis, Tennessee in the past week, and it's gutted most of us who know that story. So please keep him and his family in your prayers as well. A moment of silence. All right, thank you. Well, let me welcome you all. I would like, just as a quick show of hands, I love this part. For how many of you is this your first time at a Greenwood County Democratic breakfast meeting? Raise your hands. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, at least a dozen. This is your first time here. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you came. And for those of us that are seasoned veterans, I hope you saw who was new here. It's time for the hazing rituals for all of our new attendees. I would also like to take a moment to recognize those who have served in our military in the past, either active duty or veterans. Would you please stand up and be recognized? We do love our veterans and we appreciate you. Please stand up, men and women. Thank you so much for taking that sacrifice on our behalf. We appreciate you. We truly do. Thank you so much. I also want to thank our doctors, our medical professionals, nurses, dentists, even those who work in assisted living centers. Would also like to even thank our pastors. I know a number of you are out here today. And thank you for serving our community. It takes all of us to hold it together. Thank you, sir. I would also like to recognize those of you who are from out of town. Raise your hand if you're not from Greenwood County and you traveled to be here today. 2, 4, I see Abbeville. I see McCormick. I see Columbia. All right, wonderful. We have, in fact, I want to recognize Mr. Austin Jackson. If you would please stand. Would you introduce yourself to the crowd, please?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I'm Austin Jackson. I'm the president of the Young Democrats of South Carolina.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jackson. We appreciate it. The Young Democrats of South Carolina are over in Waterloo today for a strategic meeting, and appreciate you and Mr. Mercurius Bird, who took the time to come out and be with us this morning. We hope you enjoy it and take away some positive vibes and spread it throughout the state. I can tell you without a doubt, Greenwood has the best monthly meeting of all 46 counties in the state, bar none. I know that for a fact. I know it for a fact. Here's our agenda today. If you haven't picked up a copy of the printed agenda, please do get one from Miss Lane at the front. She has some more. We have plenty of copies. So please grab one and take it back with you. A lot of good information there. So our agenda today, I'm going to start off with some party updates. Then we have two guest speakers. Mr. Justos Schiller, he's going to speak about Lakeland's counts as well as the Greenwood Abbeville Coalition. Then we've got Philip Dennis, who's going to talk about the Racial Justice League. Several of us are part of that group, but we want to expand it, and we know this group is just ripe to belong to that organization. Then I'm going to do a legislative deep dive. There's been a lot happening in Columbia this past month, and I'm going to go through it as best I can. Unfortunately, we're not going to have a Volunteer of the Month award. For the first time since we started this in 2020, our volunteer did not show up today. So our award winner is not here, so we're going to have to kick it to another breakfast meeting and hope that the winner is able to attend, and then we can properly recognize that person, and then we'll have a closing. So let's begin with some updates. Let's talk about some financials. We haven't talked about that in a while. The executive committee met last month to go over our budget for the year. Believe it or not, we do have a budget. And we want to share with our members some financial information. At our last count, the Greenwood County Democratic Party had a very healthy bank balance of almost $12,000. Now, it's a good amount, and I'll share this with you. We spent quite a bit of money during the last election cycle as well. So the money is not just sitting there collecting dust. That's just a testament of your generosity that we're able to keep that level stable while still spending money for things like breakfast meetings, mailers, donating to candidates. We have a headquarters, by the way, if you hadn't known that. We have a permanent headquarters in Uptown Greenwood, and we have to pay insurance on it. We have to pay for internet, electricity, and so on. So there are costs there as well. We are putting that money to good use, and so we thank you very much, and we would like to keep it up. One thing that I instructed the executive committee on this year is we need to spend the money even more. We're going to dip into that and lower our balance and spend that money on voter outreach. We're not going to wait until 2024. We're starting this month in February. It is my mission that we are going to win back House District 12. That was Ann Parks' seat. She only lost by 600 votes. For those of you that came out in December, you got my deep dive in the analytics there. And the reason why she was not able to win was because of her precincts here in Greenwood. Turnout was only 28% of registered voters. Statewide, it was in the 50s. In Greenwood, it was only 27%. And we can change that. There's 600 votes there, easy. We've got somebody who is going to run. I will let this person announce when the time is right. But we have a very strong candidate that I am so excited to introduce to you at a later breakfast meeting. But we will be hitting the streets this month. We are going to be setting up tents out in the community. We're going to be cooking hot dogs. We're going to be having conversations. We're going to be listening to concerns. We're going to establish roots so that when it comes time for November 2024, we got a mighty tree that it cannot be chopped down, and we're going to take that seat back. So we are going to spend that money to get there and appreciate all that you have donated over these past years. So we need to put this money to good use, and I said this is the time we're going to let loose the coffers a bit, be a little less conservative, no pun intended, and put that money to good use and do some true community engagement. Speaking of community engagement, we had a couple of things happen this month that we ought to be very proud of. Catherine's Closet is a program in the GWD 50 school district that helps address the needs of homeless students. And did you know that we have over 400, by count, homeless students in the Greenwood School District? And in fact, they're not all counted, but from what they can count, it's over 400 that don't have a permanent address. So we started a school supply drive last fall. This was the last activity from Ms. Wanda Moore before her very shocking and untimely passing. And we got all discoordinated after that. It took us a little while to recover, but recover we did. And last week we were able to finally drop off all of these supplies, almost 50 book bags, lots of school supplies, lots of materials for teachers and so on. And we were able to deliver it right over to the Greenwood School District. So thank you to all of you who did contribute to that effort last year. It is getting put to good use, and they were very appreciative. Then we also participated in the city versus county food drive. Now, it didn't get a lot of fanfare this year. It actually took me a little bit of effort to even find out about it, but they did have it, and you guys pulled through in spades. Yesterday, we were able to deliver several hundred pounds of food items. We dropped them off at 2 locations, one for the county, one for the city, because we wanted to be nonpartisan and not show favoritism. But the official weigh-in is on Monday. Now, I'll tell you this. When I showed up to the drop-off locations, they were extraordinarily impressed by the amount of food we brought. Apparently, nobody had brought that amount of food to date so far. So we really stood up and stood out and showed that Democrats care. Yes, we do. So thank you so much for that. Now, we do have some volunteer needs. We are struggling and are looking for some people to join our executive committee. First off, we talked about Wanda Moore, bless her soul. We talked about how much we miss her. We lack a community care coordinator. So we want somebody who is able to help coordinate once a month some sort of activity for the Democrats to go out into the public and do some good. Whether it's road cleanup, we have a highway we've adopted, food drives, educational outreaches, whatever it is, working with the churches, working with other community organizations. We just need a center point to help make those calls and coordinate it. It's not a lot of time that you need to involve. We just need somebody to be in charge of it. So if you could stand up to be our community care coordinator for Greenwood County, we would absolutely appreciate it. All right, we're also looking for a director of voter engagement, somebody who can help coordinate voter registration drives, help explain the voting rules, help us in our outreach coordinated efforts out in the communities and the precincts, somebody who's really focused on voter turnout. And then finally, we have another Floyd's Fish Fry coming up. That's right. Floyd, are you out there catching that fish yet? I don't want you waiting to the last second again. But we were looking at the April-May timeframe this year. So we're going to do it before summer. So as soon as we can get coordinated, that's great. Now, we have a playbook. This isn't start from scratch. We have all the contacts. We have the step-by-step to do this. We've done this before, so we know how it's done. We just want somebody to help organize the meetings, check the boxes, make sure assignments are out there. You'll have plenty of volunteers to help you out. We just want that one person to help coordinate it. So if you want to do that one good deed and help us with one of our biggest fundraisers and community events, we are looking for a Floyd's Fish Fry subcommittee chair. We need somebody to keep on Floyd to make sure he catches that fish, because he needs a lot of handling and reminding. The guy, I don't know. So volunteers needed. Please see me or see any member of our executive committee afterwards. Next month, we will not be having our typical breakfast meeting. We will be having our convention. We stated this last year that the chairs are going to get voted in, chair including myself, first vice, second vice, third vice chair, on odd numbered years. And we are in an odd numbered year. The rationale is we want whoever the new committee members are to kind of get used to things before they enter into the general election cycle of the even years. I remember when I became chair in 2020, and it was right in the middle of Biden versus Trump and everything else going on. Man, that was nuts. So we want to make sure that whoever is new to these positions has a chance to get established before they enter into the election cycle. So it's going to be Saturday, March 4th. Postcards will go out in the mail. It'll be at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. 10 a.m. because we're going to make this a lunch event like we did last year. So we'll have sandwiches and the like. We'll also do voting. We'll have some surprise guest speakers that'll come and visit us as well. But we will be voting on the top 4 chair positions. So what are they? Well, you've got myself. I had done some reflection, and I decided that I will run for another term to be your chair. Well, I appreciate it. Keep the applause down. But I also encourage competition. This isn't something that, I get a power trip off of. The pay isn't that great. I'll be honest with you, though the hours are long. So if you wish to take that on, I would welcome it with open arms, and I think we would enjoy a healthy debate. But I think I've decided I'm going to stay on for at least 2 more years. We've had Reverend James Thompson has asked to step aside. He's got a lot of other things he's in charge of, and so he decided not to run again for first vice chair, and I thank him very much for everything that he's done to keep us going. But Jamel Brooks has put her name in the ring to be the first vice chair. She is not with us today because she is in Columbia training with the Emerge SC program, which is political training. So she's getting some smarts in the political arena, and then she is asked to take on the first vice chair. If you want to be a first vice chair, you're welcome to run for that position as well. Mei Kung, her immigration practice, or she's an immigration attorney, has been growing, so she is asked to step aside so she can focus on that. Plus, she's a small business owner, and she just moved to a new house. So she's overwhelmed, and she asked if she could step aside. So I thank her for everything that she's done. This is an open position. If you're looking to be a second vice chair, please let me know. And then Matthew Miller, Councilman Matthew Miller from the city of Greenwood, has thrown his name in to be the third vice chair, which is the youth coordinator, the Young Democrats coordinator. He has asked as well. Again, if you feel like you can do a good job there, we welcome that. So these are the 4 positions that we will vote upon. If you want to put your name, send an email, info@gwdcountydems.org. It's on the back, or go to our website. We welcome any and all candidates. We're a friendly group here. There's no smear campaigns. There's no attack ads. We're all friends, and we all want to do what's best for our party and our community. Speaking of elections, we do have an election coming up in May for the school board. Last month, I did a whole session on Moms for Liberty. And today, I'm going to talk about school censorship in my segment at the end. So the school board has become truly the new battleground for our kids' education. 96 and Ware Shoals school districts have 2 school board seats open for election. If you live in Ware Shoals or you live in 96, we encourage you to stand up and run. Most of the time, these have very low turnouts. Only a couple dozen voters come out on a May election. So it's a very winnable seat if we are coordinated. If you are of a like-minded nature as we are, and you want to pursue this, you can make a difference and protect us from a lot of these censorship bills and this crazy stuff that's happening in our schools. So please see us. Filing begins soon. If you look at the schedule of events on the back, these seats open up on Monday, February 20th. And then for 2 weeks, you can file at the voter registration office to run. And then you've got until May 9th. That's when the election day is. School boards are very important. In fact, we had a school board seat open this past election. We made some calls. We found somebody to run. She ran and she won. So that was great. That was a seat that we saved. So that brings me to another announcement, the Search and Support Committee. For these seats, we're going to be getting together at the headquarters next Thursday at 6 o'clock. We're going to go through some lists of potential candidates, and then we make cold calls. We reach out to them. We say, hey, Bob, have you considered running for school board? It's easy to do. We'll help you out. We'll guide you through it. But we want to have some good people run. If you want to be part of that process, join us at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and we'll go through some names. Next Saturday, a week from today, McCormick County Democrats are throwing a reception in recognition and appreciation of Representative Ann Parks and Judge Kitty Butler. She was the probate judge in McCormick County, and she lost her election as well. But they wanted to appreciate Ann for everything that she's done for McCormick County. They've extended that invitation to us. So if you've got a couple of hours, you want to come on out, say hi, shake some hands, and get some free food, come on out to McCormick. It's only a 20-minute drive. They're a friendly bunch, right, Reverend? They're a friendly bunch. So come on out. It's an open invitation. 3 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, February 11th. And then, of course, March 2nd, at the Arts Center, we're going to have a recognition, long overdue, for Senator Floyd Nicholson for everything he's done in his many years in Greenwood County. It will be at the Arts Center. Frank Cazuar is one of the organizers. He said to me that they've been able to raise nearly $2 million for this event. You know, so that Pass the Hat that Betty Rose did last month, she got some big donors. So you can expect some good food, some good speeches, some just good vibes, and remembering a man in service to our area, and just be grateful for everything he's done. So March 2nd, put that down on your calendars. And then we're going to have, on Thursday, February 16th, so not next week, but the week after, we're going to try something new. I don't know how much you know about the 1619 project. I've actually read it cover to cover. It is an amazing piece of work. As a student of history, I found it very riveting, and it's nothing like what the critics tell you. When you hear somebody criticize it, that's flag number one that they never actually read it. Right? They've never read it. I read it, and I thought it was astounding. It's turned into a TV series on Hulu. And it's getting some interesting reviews. So I figured I would try this out as an experiment. On that Thursday at the headquarters, we're going to pop it in our big TV. We're going to have popcorn and other snacks. And we're going to watch it. Watch the first episode anyway. And then have a little discussion afterwards. And if we like it, we'll continue it in subsequent months. If we don't like it, we'll try something new. But it's an open invitation. Now, our headquarters doesn't have a huge facility like this. So check in, you know, if you want to come. We have to limit it to maybe about 10 to 12 people. That's maybe 15. We can move some tables around. But we don't want to have, 50 people show up. I don't know that we can accommodate all 50. But we're going to try that out. We're going to watch the 1619 project together. And finally, the most important date, Super Bowl 57, is next Sunday. And I want to make sure we all do an Eagles chant, because we are, as Greenwood County Democrats, Eagles fans. Wow. You know what? All of you have just... Who's here for the Eagles? Let me hear a cheer. Cheer, yeah, Eagles. All right, who's here for the Chiefs? Oh, it's split. Now the Chiefs are definitely the louder and more obnoxious of the fan base, but it did appear it was even 50-50. Anyhow, I just hope and pray we have a good game, that it's entertaining, that nobody gets injured, and then at the end of the day, we can feel proud about both of our teams' efforts.